And a very happy afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Burgess back with Think and Grow Rich, and welcome back. And do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. That way you'll know of every video we put out. Hopefully you've enjoyed the last two. They were really kind of in your face a little bit, especially if you took the time to go through the 30 major causes of failure and the questionnaire about self-analysis, the 28 questions that we should ask ourselves once or twice a year. So we've gotten through that, and hopefully you went through that and you didn't beat yourself up too much. We all slip into beat up mode when we go through those. Excuse me, everybody does. Everybody seemingly wants to slip into beat up mode when they find something that they know is holding them back. Instead of embracing it and saying, man, I'm glad I discovered it. Now I can do something about it. They slip into beat up mode. Please don't do that. And here's another thing to be aware of. Let's say you found 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe you were like me, you found 7 or 8, 10, 12 things that you want to work on. The worst thing you could possibly do is try to work on all 10 or 12 of them at once. You see, that's where we get into overwhelm, ladies and gentlemen, and it just simply doesn't work. Because overwhelm is a negative energy. I mean, we lose our ability to control the intellectual faculty of reason, to truly think accurately when we're in overwhelm. So if you found a few of these habits that you need to work on, you need to replace, you need to make the old ones obsolete and replace with a new one, just do 1 or 2 of those habits at a time. That way you'll stay completely out of overwhelm and you will achieve the success you want by relieving yourself of those habits that are holding you back. Now, the next part of this chapter is a part that I truly did not understand. And I read the book for a while and didn't understand it. But I remember my first mentor, the guy that told me to get a copy of this and study a little every day for the rest of your life. I thought he was nuts. But I remember being in a discussion with him one day, and I remember saying these words, oh my gosh, that's expensive. And he smiled and he kind of giggled and he said, Tim, nothing is expensive. You just don't have enough money. Now, in the beginning, I wanted to punch him. I mean, that just was my reaction. When I hit him, what, you arrogant. But he didn't mean any shame by it or anything like that. He went on to talk about why we say those things. And we really do it because we're not thinking. So in this chapter, Napoleon goes into the value of organized capital. And it's one of my favorite parts of this chapter, hands down. Now, I should say it's my favorite part of this chapter because it opened my eyes so much. First of all, make sure we understand that if you're watching this video and you're paying attention to these videos, you probably don't have a problem with food. Meaning you have plenty of food around you. So there's plenty of food. It's in abundance. And it's not very difficult for you to obtain that. Shelter is probably not very difficult for you to obtain. Clothing, food, shelter, clothing, the 3 basic needs. You probably have plenty of, an abundance of, if you're viewing this. So what is it, what is it that provided all of these blessings? Let's call them blessings if we may. What was it that provided all of that? And Napoleon goes into a pretty good analysis of this. And he says, I have the right to analyze the source and nature of this unseen power because I know and have known for more than a quarter of a century many of the people who organize that power and many who are now responsible for its maintenance. The name of this mysterious benefactor of mankind is capital. And then he says this. I've got this highlighted and underlined and everything else. He says, capital consists not alone of money. Huh? I thought capital and money were the same thing. It's what it is. Capital consists not alone of money, but more particularly of highly organized, intelligent groups of people who plan ways and means of using money efficiently for the good of the public and profitably for themselves. These groups consist of scientists, educators, chemists, inventors, business analysts, publicity men, transportation experts, accountants, lawyers, doctors, men and women who have highly specialized knowledge in all fields of industry and business. He says they pioneer, experiment, and blaze trails in new fields of endeavors, which we know they do. Now, he talks about how money without brains is always dangerous. He says it's always dangerous. He says properly used, it is the most important essential of civilization. Now, then he goes into an analysis and an analogy of a simple breakfast. I want you to follow me on this and think about this. I want to really open your mind and think about this. Now let's talk about a simple breakfast in today's world. In 1937, when he's writing this, he was talking about a breakfast for a dime a piece, 10 cents a piece. Today, let's call it 20 bucks. Okay, so you go to breakfast, it's $20 a piece, hypothetically speaking. Once again, it's an analogy. He says the simple breakfast could not have been delivered to you or to anybody else if organized capital had not provided the machinery, the ships, the railroads, the huge armies of trained men to operate them. Now, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about a simple breakfast. Coffee, orange juice, water. The glass water comes in. Let's say bacon, sausage, eggs, maybe some breakfast potatoes, toast. If you want to go crazy, let's call it a buffet. Let's have some French toast and pancakes too. But let's think about each one of these industries just for the food product. So I don't know about you, but I do not operate an egg farm, or chicken farm, I should call it, huh? I don't operate one of those farms where I get eggs. I don't know how much money and or people are required to deliver that egg to the restaurant, but I know it's an army of them. And I know it takes, I would think, billions of dollars in organized capital just to bring me the egg. And if I'm off and it's only millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, okay, that's just the egg. What about the wheat to produce the toast, for the French toast, the toast, or the pancakes, right? We need wheat for that, right? Well, we need the wheat producing states, and we need to grow the wheat, and then we need to harvest the wheat, and then we need to process the wheat, and then we need to get it packaged and get it to the stores. So think about the machine we needed to plant the seeds, the machine we needed to harvest the seeds, the machine we needed to process all of it, the machine we needed to make pancakes out of it. Think about that for a minute. Don't just brush it to the wayside and say, well, that breakfast was expensive. No, it really wasn't. Follow me. Then we have, a loaf of bread. We have to have ovens to make a loaf of bread. What did the ovens cost? How many dollars in organized capital, billions and billions of dollars, just to make the oven to bake the bread so you and I could have a piece of toast? Think about it. The book's called Think and Grow Rich. So now we've got that done. Oh my gosh, what about the sausage or the bacon? I don't know about you. I don't own a pig farm. I don't own that. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to go through the processing plants. All I know is if you stop and think about it, first of all, we have to raise the baby pig. Well, then we have to obviously get it to a stockyard of some sort for processing, right? So it needs to go on a truck. Well, think of the billions of dollars required just to create the tractor trailer to transport the pig from the farm to the processing stations. Oh, and then once it's processed, we have to get it to the store, and then from the store to the restaurant. So think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. You can have breakfast for 20 bucks. Think about the billions of dollars of organized capital. Now, we haven't even talked about coffee yet. We haven't even talked about orange juice yet. We haven't talked about manufacturing the plates yet, or manufacturing the table, or all of the supplies that are required for a restaurant to be in business. We haven't even spoken of those things yet. What about the electricity? How many millions, no, not millions, billions of dollars in organized capital is required to operate the power plant so you and I can walk into the restaurant, flip a switch, and the lights come on? Flip a switch and the oven comes on, or the flat top stove comes on. Flip another switch and the hood comes on. Think about it all the way through. And what you really learn is nothing is expensive. Nothing. And if you want to go to gasoline, right now in the United States, people are not happy about the price of gasoline. I don't think people are happy about the price of gasoline anywhere. But let me ask you a question. How many of you own your own refinery? How many of you own your fleet of trucks to get the gasoline from the refinery to the tanks in the ground? How many of you own your own manufacturing facility where they make the pumps that pump the gasoline out of the tank into your tank? See, all we do is, for a lot of people, all we do is complain. Oh my gosh, that's expensive. Oh my gosh, that's expensive. Oh my gosh, that's expensive. We're not thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. If it were not for highly organized and intelligently directed groups of people and organized money, capital, you and I would not ever be able to afford the luxuries that we have today. No way, the internet would be absolutely cost prohibitive. But because of the organized capital and billions and billions and billions of dollars of it, you don't even need wires connecting your smart device to the internet and you can watch this video. Oh, by the way, hit the subscribe button while you're here, will you? So if we stop and think about it, my first mentor was right. Nothing is expensive. But the problem is most people never think about it. I'm not going to say most people never think. Everybody thinks. It's just a matter of, are they intelligently directed thoughts, or are they thoughts based upon habit of the past? So he talks about this, and he goes through it, and he says, just to keep the record simple and understandable, he wants to add that these capitalists, these organized groups of people, these organized groups of individuals, these organized groups are the same self-men who most people take shots at. Think about that. Now, I'm not saying that all of them are above board. I'm not saying all of them are doing everything correctly, but think about it, okay? He says, I'm not attempting to present a brief for or against any group of men or any system of economics. He's just pointing out the obvious. That's all he's doing. He's pointing out the obvious. He says, the purpose of this book, a purpose to which I have faithfully devoted over a quarter of a century, is to present to all who want the knowledge the most dependable philosophy through which an individual may accumulate riches in whatever amount they desire. Accumulate riches in whatever amounts you desire. But if you walk around whining about how things are always expensive, then you're in a negative frequency of vibration. You're in a negative thought process. You're never going to get positive results from the negative thought process. So yes, you get to trade your money for the goods or the services that you desire. But those goods or services are not expensive. That's just the way you may look at them. So look at it a different way. Change your mindset around it. And the next time you pump a gallon of gasoline into your vehicle, instead of complaining about the price, how about if you're just grateful that it was just easy enough to do this and get the gasoline? Gratitude. As always, we want to thank Joe. Without Joe, we wouldn't be here. We greatly appreciate Joe and all that Joe does. Joe's a fantastic individual. If you get a chance to meet him or take him to lunch, do so. Craft 3 or 4 really good questions from this book, and he'll be able to help you, and he could change your life just having one lunch with him. So thank you, Joe. As always, one of our greatest desires is that this day be the very best day you have ever experienced in this game we call life. Yesterday doesn't matter. Tomorrow isn't here, so you can't do anything about either one of them. However, today you can do something about. So let's continue to think and grow rich, get our mindset right, and allow this day to be the very best that you've ever experienced. Tonight, when you put your head on a pillow, please do so with a mind full of peace. Remember, calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. And may God bless each and every one of you. Have a fabulous day.